Oh, hello there. I'm the IdeaSpectrum, and this is your weekly dose of complicated, seemingly nonsense concepts made easier. Today, we're diving into a fabric that's not just woven from threads, but from ideas. Because clothing is far more than what we wear, it's what we say, what we believe, and what we imagine. In this episode, we will discuss clothing as thought, meaning how clothing can reflect ideas, and we will specifically focus on the creator's side. The designers, innovators, and thinkers who use garments not just to cover bodies, but to express deep philosophical, cultural, and political ideas. Think of it this way. What if a jacket isn't just a jacket, but a question, a protest, hypothesis? Let's unravel that idea one designer at a time. At the heart of design lies conceptual intention. Some designers treat clothing as wearable art, embedding their pieces with social commentary or political critique. Think of garments as essays, visual, tactile, and interactive. Take Phoebe English, for example, a London-based designer. Her motto is bold. There is no beauty without sustainability. And she doesn't just hold the talk. She also uses the stock fabrics, natural dyes made from food waste and weeds, and even grow a biodegradable dress from wheatgrass roots. Her process is visible, her labor transparent, and her garments are intentionally seasonless and modular. Every stitch resists the toxic spin of fast fashion. Phoebe's work asks, what kind of world are we even dressing for? And while Phoebe reimagines fashion on an ecological system, other designers push clothing into another territory: social change. What happens when garments are not just sustainable but revolutionary in their impacts on communities? Enter Mossi Traoré, a designer in Paris whose brand Mossi doesn't just sell fashion, it builds futures. Mossi grew up in the suburbs of Paris where access to couture felt distant, so he flipped the script. His label supports education, offers couture training to marginalized groups, and literally stitches economic opportunity into every scene. His collections draw from African heritage, Japanese manga, and Indian cinema, but more importantly, they fund his couture school in the banlieue. His shows are sometimes held in huts and projects, not for spectacle, but to shift the center of fashion's power. So, we've seen how clothing can confront environmental destruction and tackle social exclusion. But some creators go even further, using clothing as a bridge between worlds in conflict, cultures in tension, or generations apart. Meet ADISH, a brand born in Tel Aviv that uses fashion to reconcile cultural divides. Their garments combine streetwear with traditional Palestinian embroidery, handcrafted by women in refugee camps. Their designs reflect themes of movement and identity, highlighting geopolitical constraints through aesthetics. Fashion becomes diplomacy, embroidery becomes testimony. ADISH work proves that clothing can be more than symbolic. It can become a shared language across divides. But let's pivot. What if the frontier of fashion isn't just cultural, social, or even political, but technological? What happens when designers ask not just what we wear, but how it's made? And this is where creators like Son of a Tailor come in. A Danish brand that uses algorithms to custom size your shirts, eliminating overproduction and with it a huge portion of fashion's waste. Instead of guessing trends and bulk producing stock, they flip the model. Nothing is made until it's ordered. Their 3D emitted zero waste pullover is more than slick. It's a blueprint for ethical, efficient production. And similarly, Irina Perivi uses AI not just as a tool, but as a collaborator. In New York, first AI Fashion Week, she trained Midjourney on Ukrainian motifs, creating garments that honor her homeland. With AI, she amplifies memory, not erases it. Technology in her hands become a way to preserve identity. And what if we go deeper, beyond design and beyond even AI, down to the very material itself? Some visionaries are questioning the foundation of fashion, asking, what should our clothes be made from in the first place? So, you may have guessed it. Let's talk about Tomtext, a company that turns shrimp shells, mushrooms, not into a delicious meal as you might think, but into a sustainable leather alternative. OEM Trans innovation doesn't just replace toxic leather, it redefines fashion's raw ingredients. She is reshaping how we value waste, how we see nature, and what beauty really means. And then there is Dr. Thian Ross, scientist and designer. She cultivates bio-leather grown from bacteria, completely compostable, flame resistant, and processed with zero toxic chemicals. Her work isn't just scientific, it's what some might even call spiritual. It asks us to listen to nature and not just extract from it. So, from British atelier to Paris suburbs, from Israeli streetwear to Danish algorithms, and Vietnamese mushrooms, we've seen how creators transform fashion into a language of meaning, resistance, and hope. How all of these creators, whether they're working with weeds, AI, embroidery, or bacteria, should one believe. Fashion is a language, and design is a dialogue. When you look closely, clothing becomes more than a style, it becomes philosophy worn on skin, code of ethics, stitched in cotton or biofabric, an invitation to see, feel, and think differently. And that's it for today's episode of IdeaSpectrum. In the next episode, we shall dive deeper into the wearer's side. If that sounds spicy, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss your next dose of IdeaSpectrum awesomeness. Until next time, you know it. Question harder. Think broader. And don't let anyone shrink your spectrum. Stay curious.